As the women went to the tomb, carrying the spices they have prepared, they found the stone rolled away from the tomb, and suddenly, the two men in bright shining clothes, stood by them and said, "Why are you looking among the dead, for one who is alive?" Then the women returned from the tomb, and told these things to disciples and all the rest. This is your daily devotional. Maranatha, the Lord is coming. Maranatha, a daily devotional, by Ellen G. White. The sign of God's people. The enemy has worked in the religious world to deceive men into the belief that the law of God can be set aside. He has had long years of experience in this work, for he began with our first parents, using his powers to cause them to distrust God. If he could interpose himself between their souls and God, he knew that he would succeed. The prospect of becoming gods, knowing good and evil, was pleasing to Adam and Eve, and they yielded to the temptation. In receiving a knowledge of good and evil, men feel that they are gaining much, but they do not understand the purposes of Satan. They do not understand that they are taken in his snare when they tamper with the law of God. The enemy knows that if the church can be controlled by political enactments, if she can be led to unite with the world, she virtually acknowledges him as her head. Then the authority of man-made commandments will work to oppose the rule of the government of heaven. Under the leadership of Satan, men will dispense with the righteous, holy enactments of God concerning the Sabbath, the observance of which is to be a sign between God and his people forever. Satan's plan has taken with the religious world. He has created an order of things entirely his own, making void the law of God. Through his deceptive working he has gained in the professedly Christian world that which he thought to gain in heaven, an abrogation of the laws of Jehovah. Through the Roman power he has worked to remove God's memorial, and has erected a memorial of his own to sever God from his people. Today the Protestant world is estranged from God by its acceptance of a spurious Sabbath. Not one iota of sacred authority can they find for doing this, yet, full of zeal, they assert that the Lord's memorial given at creation should be ignored, despised, trampled upon, and the first day of the week take its place. No deeper wound could be inflicted on God than to ignore his holy day, and place in its stead a spurious Sabbath that bears no mark of sanctity. God gave the Sabbath to the world to be set apart for his name's glory. He says, "It is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that doth sanctify you." Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant. And who are Israel? The Holy Spirit by the Apostle Paul declares, "If ye be Christ's, then are ye Abraham's seed." Upon all who through Christ become a part of the true Israel, the observance of the Sabbath is enjoined. Those who disregard a plain, "Thus saith the Lord," are casting off their allegiance to God, and exalting human power in his stead. By thus placing themselves in opposition to the God of heaven, men are failing to receive the mark, or sign, by which the people of the world are to know God's true followers. There is no justification for those who, having the light, close their eyes and their ears to a plain, "Thus saith the Lord." They have taken up the weapons of their warfare against God, and their guilt is made manifest.